Damn, bro, I need to get my setup right. My background and shit. You guys are all chills, cucumbers.
All right, welcome to episode 4 of Keiths Korner, brought to you by McDowell's, home of the Golden Arcs. Not the Golden Arches. Y'all go by and go get you a Big Mick and tell them Cleo sent you. Also brought to you by my kick of the day, the 23 chromosomes, LeBron James. It's a good shoe, good colorway. Not a big LeBron James fan, whether of the player or the shoe, but these were such a sexy ass kick. I couldn't help but get them. Um, to my right, might be on y'all's left, is my boy Zach. He's a fellow serviceman. A lot of y'all out there know him. He's a jump master and hair guru. You can go ahead and check him out. Check it out. Show. There you go. It's all right. He's lucky he got a haircut, and I haven't gotten a haircut yet. But so I'm wearing the whole story behind me wearing a Saved by the Bell shirt is the first time I ever met Zach. Everybody was telling me before I met him. Everybody was telling me, "Oh, you got great hair. You got to meet Zach. You got to meet Zach." So I met Zach, and we had this chemistry like instantly. And he came up to me. He said, "Will you be my Slater to my Zach?" So I obliged. And ever since then, we've had this chemistry. We always talked about him. This was before I even started the show. We always talked about him coming on and working together and doing something. So here he is. And as everybody knows, Charlie from last week, Charlie said, "What's up?"
What's up, boys? How's it hanging?
Low and to the left. Should be the same for you. I think every guy's like that. But I digress. All right, so today's topics, what we're going to be talking about today, you guys at home should be able to see them up on the screen right there. That's what the topics for the day are. We'll do real quick the coronavirus, and then we're going to go into McMillan's, a show that you said
Yes.
you had me check out. Charlie,
Yes.
I think you checked it out as well. It was a good show, but let's delve into this coronavirus thing first. Charlie, you already know I don't really like talking
Goddamn
about this
coronavirus.
shit. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired of talking about it, especially since I haven't even gotten my
Yeah,
fucking
bro,
stimulus
seriously.
check yet.
Damn.
Yeah, you got yours already?
Fuck yeah.
Charlie, you got yours already?
No, sir.
Yeah, so
Nah, it's coming in, though. I actually just checked
You got
it
yours?
today, and I got the update on when I'm going to get it. Though.
I got.
You know,
I
you
got
can
mine
track it, right?
11
You can
days
track
ago.
your check.
You know what? You know what? I'm saying I don't even really want it though. To be honest, I'm gonna put it away. I'm not gonna touch it. Maybe somewhere down the line when I feel like we're in the free and clear and we don't have to pay it back. I just feel like some fuckery is gonna happen. So I'd rather just not leave it. I'm not hurting for money, so
There's no way we're gonna have to pay that.
yeah. I sure hope not. I sure hope not. What
Nah, no fucking
what are
way.
your thoughts on the coronavirus there, Zach?
My only thought on the coronavirus is I did see like a solid meme the other day. It was saying when Bird Box came out and everyone was watching it, it was super huge flake, and everyone's watching at home and they're like, "Why the fuck would you go outside? Like, why would you go outside? Like, stay inside, stay inside." Yet here we are, a couple months later, living in the Bird Box, and it's like everyone has an immediate different response to how that movie went. Like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Obviously, the stipulation's a little different. You know, you go outside and you fucking die. But I mean, now we see a little bit better. I thought that was pretty funny. Other than that, man, I'm just sick of hearing about it.
I mean, I feel you. Like, I've said it before, I'm a homebody, so I set up my house to where I really don't want to leave home. But, so I wouldn't mind if I could get that 14 days off. But I can understand people that don't want to stay home and stuff like that. That's just my personal preference. So I know some people got to be sick of being home. But But the thing that gets to me is like, I mean, I don't really like being too close to people anyway. So the whole 6 feet distance thing, I kind of came up with the same. You either get 6 feet or you end up 6 feet deep. Sick fucking reference, right?
That is sick. Yeah,
I mean, I thought it was pretty good.
You always got the sickest references, bro. Always.
Everyone knows your references are out of control.
Everyone knows.
But
it,
anyways, enough of
We just tight.
enough of Corona. I think we covered that more than enough. But
yeah, I
so
don't
let's
even
get
got
into
shit to
this
say about it
McMillions
anymore
shit.
at this point, bro.
Yeah, I'm done with it, man. Let's get into this show. It's kind of like the new flavor of the week now. Everybody's kind of calmed down about Tiger King now. Now where everybody's talking about McMillions, yeah. So what brought you to the show?
So after I binged Tiger King, I was flipping through and I basically watched like everything trending. And I was like, man, let me get on a different network. So I hit up HBO Go and I saw this thing called McMillions and I was like, this is pretty interesting because me and my wife had just talked about it, how her dad thought it was a scam back in the like early 2000s, late 90s. And I was like, I wonder, like we had just randomly talked about it. And so this show is exactly about that, the entire thing truly being a scam. And I turned it on, I just got hooked immediately. Like, how deep is this going to go? How deep is this going to go? And it ended up being really, really interesting. And I was just wondering, like, what other people would do in that mobster's shoes. Like, if you had that power to do that, like, would you do it? Or who would you let in on it?
Oh, I don't know, Charlie. What you saw it, right? What do you got to say about it?
I honestly had never heard about it before this movie came out. I always kind of wondered, like, if somebody would be able to pull off something like this. And once I started watching the documentary, I was pretty intrigued. Honestly, it's a fascinating documentary. The people who did it, I guess you could kind of argue they got a little selfish over time because they pretty much had it down. The scam that they had going was pretty legit. It was pretty airtight for the most part until they started bringing in like too many people. And I don't know, just greed takes over. But without trying to give away too much of it, if you haven't seen it, I recommend it for sure. Go check it out. And it's awesome. I think it's like, what, 6 episodes? They get pretty
Yeah,
balls deep into it. But yeah, man, it's legit. It's legit. I liked it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I
Wouldn't
really
be
don't
slipping
get
like
like.
that though. But yeah.
Nah, definitely not. I was never in it to win it anyways. I was always in it for the free fries.
Yeah.
And
That
so
checks out.
shout out.
Oh, bro, if you
Shout
got
out
some
to
free fries, that was a dub. That's all you needed.
oh yeah. And then especially like back then when like when I was old enough to start going and getting my fries. I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day they used to have like a large cup of fries. Instead of just a large fry, they would like you can go and they had like huge fucking cups. And like they would just fill them up with fucking fries, and you can just like I would just drive around with this large fucking cup of fries and just fucking eat them.
Checks
And
out.
I would get a free large fry from McDonald's, and I would ask them like, hey, can I just upgrade to? They don't sell them in the cup no more, but I remember those were the days. I'd just be riding around
Smashing fries.
smashing fries. So, well, that's probably a different meaning, smashing fries.
Yeah,
So when I'm from, smashing papas, that was a different meaning. But that's something else. But back to the show. Like I thought the show was pretty good. Like just the elaborateness of the whole scheme and what it took to pull it off, I thought was like it was insane. And the fact that it was somebody on the inside of McDonald's who kind of initiated it.
It wasn't McDonald's. It was the dude. It was the company that made the peel-offs for
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
So what McDonald's had nothing to do with it, and they had no idea that the shit was going on. Like the dude had no affiliation with McDonald's. It ended up being the guy that was one of the higher ups for the people who made the labels to put on the cup.
Right.
To peel them off.
Wasn't it for the advertising or something like that?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. Jerry, and then there was two
There's
guys
two
named
Jerrys.
Jerry. Yeah.
Uncle Jerry and Jerry.
Yeah, Uncle
Yeah.
Jerry and then the husband Jerry, I think.
Yeah, so Uncle Jerry was like the mobster, and Jerry, like the top Jerry, was the guy that was like selling them to Uncle Jerry. But as you see in the documentary, if you haven't seen
Yeah,
it, a couple
Regular Jerry
spoiler
was like the
alerts.
security guy.
Yeah, a couple spoiler
Yeah,
alerts.
he was like the head of security for the company.
Yeah.
So he actually did it like pretty legit. Like to me, I was actually surprised how easily it was done. And in the show, like even the FBI say like if someone hadn't have tipped them off, like no one, like they wouldn't have got caught. Period.
Yeah. And then another spoiler, when they actually when the FBI accidentally sent it out to
The public.
the public
Yeah.
instead of sending it to where
So they ended up sending it to like
Hmm.
this small town that it started in, and they ended up getting a hold of the story, and they just cut a deal with the FBI, like, hey, just give us the exclusive, and we won't blow this out like right now. But yeah,
all in all, I mean, it was a good
Hey,
show.
can we
like
shout
I
out
said.
Uncle Jerry though?
yeah. Shouts
Can
out
we
to
shout out
Uncle
Uncle
Jerry.
Jerry for
Shouts
being
out
a
to Jerry.
savage and taxing all
shouts
the
out-
people, taxing everybody he gave those
Yo.
winning pieces to?
So one thing about Uncle Jerry that I just could not get over, one of the things he did with the money he got, he opened up a strip joint, and the town, like the governor of the town, just was not having it. So he ended up making this thing to where this claim, like, okay, it's too close to a school, and you can't have a strip club X amount of miles between here and the school. So he ended up putting the name of the club was Bunnies. So.
Bunnies.
He
Shout
ends
out to
up,
Bunnies.
Yeah, shouts out to Bunnies if they're still open. But he ended up changing the name to Church of Bunnies and calling it a church. Like you could go there, repent your sins. He had an actual priest there, but you could also get drinks. And like when interviewed about it, he was like just completely confident about the whole thing. Like, yeah, it's just a gentleman's club where you can go relax, watch a dancer, get a drink, and maybe confess. Like. It's a 3-in-1 stop shop. So
Spoiler alert, that's my next business.
You really got to give it to
venture.
Uncle Jerry though, huh?
yeah, that's
Give
my
it to
boy.
him. Hey,
Yeah,
straight up.
That's one hell
they
of
don't
a
make
business.
entrepreneurs like Uncle Jerry anymore.
they don't.
Definitely.
It's kind of like the since everything shut down, and I saw the pictures of one of the local strip clubs. I think it was Sugar's. Back home, one of the strip clubs there shut down, so their strippers opened up a bikini car wash.
Oh wow.
You gotta love the entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
I dig it. Not just for lack of a better term, they weren't just sitting on their ass.
they were working it.
They were working it,
They were
and
really
I can
working.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Hard
Sugars.
days work, man.
Huh?
Plus, I imagine they get nights off. So.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder how that affected their. Hours,
Their
yeah.
sleep cycle.
Yeah.
Shout out to strippers. They put in tough
Let's
hours.
be honest, those girls ain't sleeping much, bro.
It's true. They are.
How dare you? They're just trying to.
She's a nice lady.
They're just trying to get through college, man.
The most energetic bunch in the world, probably.
Yeah.
She's 44 years old. College is done, man.
College is done. Well,
But-
she's trying to get a PhD.
Yeah, that's true.
She's trying to get that double PhD, man.
That is true. I just don't know
No, I'm not mad at
what
that.
doctor's office is going to hire you when you put that on the old resume.
I mean, you could work it to where.
Oh, you work it.
Yeah.
Oh, you work
exactly.
it. You work it. Yeah, you're right.
Entrepreneurs
I guess
started
you could work-
a legit car washing business.
I dig it. I'd hire.
Why not?
I'd hire. I mean,
Let's get one of them on the show. What you should do.
yeah. Episode 5. Any strippers out there that want to come on to episode 5, please feel free to hit me up. This conversation went left real quick.
Turn hard.
From
hard.
McMillions
Corona
to
free, though.
strippers. Yeah, Corona free. But, well, I don't know. I hope the strippers are Corona free. They still are out there being very touchy-feely. So I hope they're
Very
being
hands
careful.
on.
Right.
I hope they're using soap that is antibacterial.
Exactly.
So,
The lube.
but back to the show on McMillions. The biggest thing, though, like I kind of felt this way back then. Like when I would get anytime I would get a game piece or whatever, I never really ever felt like I was gonna win anyways. the only other thing I remember is like there were people like people would put ads in the paper of like looking for another piece or whatever.
Yeah, people would sell on eBay.
Yeah, and I just felt like I just feel like there was never a way to win, and I just felt like back then I didn't know the rules, like the rules of the law and anything like that. Like I didn't know that. I just felt like there would never be a winner, and McDonald's could have done it and gotten away with it, like because nobody would have ever kept up with this shit. But it's a new day and age now, and like so seeing all of this stuff come back up and seeing them get caught or whatever, like now back then, I don't know. Like I said, back then I just never felt like I was gonna win anyway.
I think it's like he said, like Uncle Jerry and other Jerry just got too greedy, man. Like you could have easily done like just 3, 4, 5, even 10 of them, like because they ended up doing a lot,
Yeah,
a lot. And I think like 5 probably would have been like my personal max for it. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this like 5 times, get some people like spread, and they didn't do it. To me, they didn't do it smart because they stayed on the East Coast and then ended up branching on the West Coast like after a long while. But I mean, I would have spread out, and I guess it would be easy for like people in the military, people who know, people all over the country. But I think it'd just be a lot easier if you knew people like West Coast, Midwest, the North, South. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
just so you could spread it
And
out.
also-
It seems like less.
Also, here's a pro tip, Uncle Jerry. You don't get all the pieces to your family members. Some pieces away to like his daughter and his son as wedding gifts and shit. Come on, bro.
As gifts and shit. Yeah. Who does that shit?
Uncle
Except,
Jerry was spending too much
Uncle
scotch.
yeah, man. Except he ended up like fucking down a couple people because they ended up like losing money on it.
Yeah, the
So,
ones that he was like selling them
so
to.
it
Yeah.
was, I think it was 50 grand down to buy $1 million ticket, and he gets 500,000 of the million. Now you're supposed to get $50,000 a month for the rest until you get up to that million. But after taxes, I think she said she was getting like 36
It sounds like
36 grand, and he was getting $20,000 each check. So she was like, I ended up losing money on it, and she had to like refinance her. Like one of the chicks that ended up doing it, like she had to refinance her house, and before she even made it to the million mark, like before she even got the ticket, she was like, I want to back out. And he's like, nah, locked down now, play.
nah,
Too
son.
much.
It's like the greatest, like before pyramid schemes were a thing. Or that gifting, what's the thing that's going around now? The gifting challenge or whatever, where people are like buying in to, like you basically give up money to a pot, and I don't know, you give up like X amount of dollars. It's like a couple $100, and when eventually like your name will come up, it'll come back around. Like so, you have to give up this money without any expectation of getting anything, but they promise you that your name will come back up and come around, and they'll say that you can like quadruple your money, like, but it's when your name comes back up, and there's hundreds or thousands of people depending on how big of your circle is. I forgot what they're called. Somebody fact check me on this. It's like a gifting ring, I think is what they call gifting ring. A gifting ring, yeah, and you give up money. I may even have the details of it wrong, but it's like you give up X amount of dollars, and when your name comes back up, you can like quadruple your money on it. And I mean, it sounds like Jerry, like most Jerrys in the world, was ahead of his time.
He was, man.
Shout out to Jerry Jones on the Dallas Cowboy draft yesterday. Jerry was 6 out of 7, I'll say. Wasn't happy with the 7th pick, but I know I'm going to get Charlie going if I keep going down that rabbit hole. So, but fact check.
Nah, I just got to say one thing about that. Jerry Jones, stay your boomer ass indoors. Last thing we need is you getting corona, bro. Chill out.
Hey, well, he was indoors. He was on his yacht, so you can't really say anything.
He's in international waters.
And it's true. I know.
Yeah,
He's
that's
on
good, but I
international
feel like-
waters. He can do what he wants. He's also a billionaire, so he can also do whatever he wants.
With a B?
Well, God bless
I believe
him.
he's a billionaire.
Yeah, good for him.
I believe
Multi.
he's a billionaire. Yeah, he's got to be a
Multi-billion.
billionaire. Yeah, because the Cowboys are worth
Definitely.
like Cowboys themselves are worth like $3 billion, I think. So
Solid.
in
Now I want to say
turn,
it's like
yeah,
5, but
yeah, it might be even more. I might
yeah.
be
Now
underselling it.
Jerry shit and gold. I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah, he ain't worried
Fuck
about it.
Jerry.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Money can't save you from the
Old
virus.
ass.
Pretty sure fucking Corona lives on fucking money too.
Yeah.
That's why Apple Pay everything. But you're a Android user, and it shows.
'Cause I'm dressed nice.
That's nice. I digress. But so McMillions, if y'all haven't seen it, it's on HBO now. I actually saw it on Hulu Plus. So if y'all need something to get into, check it out on Hulu Plus or HBO now. It's only about 6 episodes. It's worth the it's definitely worth the watch. But right now we're gonna take it into part 2 or segment 2 of Keith's Kitchen, where I'm gonna teach you guys how to make a spread. Y'all go ahead and check this out. Oh, hello, and welcome back to Keith's Kitchen. What we're cooking for y'all today, back in episode 1, somebody gave me the idea of doing what they call a spread. What is a spread, you might ask? A spread is a jail term. And in jail, what they do is they maximize their supplies, maximize what they can get from the commissary, and use it into making a full meal. Being that we're all on lockdown, I figured it was a great idea to show you guys how to make a spread while you guys are on lockdown. Don't ask me how I know how to make a spread, just enjoy the show, alright? So what we're doing right now is all we need to do is get these ingredients right here. You're going to use some leftover chicken, a little bit of oil, a little bit of water, 2 packs of ramen noodles, and some shredded cheese. And if you wanted to, you can even kick it up a notch and add in some vegetables. Add in some vegetables with it, like some corn or some tomatoes, but we're just going to make it old plain Jane style. So you just want to put a little bit of hot oil into the pan, let it heat up, and you're going to brown off your noodles. And then you want to take your leftover chicken, and you're just going to dump that right in there. Now you can use some fresh chicken, but remember, during this pandemic and supplies are short, you want to maximize all your meals and make everything stretch. So we're using some leftover chicken here, so this won't take long to cook at all. So the kids are hungry and whining and everything like that, this will be a meal that we can make stretch. Now I'm only making a small amount right now. I made more earlier so I could show you the finished product and speed this process along. So right now, we're only going to use 1 packet, but normally with all your leftovers, you would do 2 packets. So right now, you're going to brown off your noodles, throw in that chicken, and then we're going to add in our water. You want to make sure everything gets covered. Just like that. Make sure everything gets covered in water. Now we're going to use our spice packets to season it up. This is the only thing you need to season it up. You don't need nothing else. You throw that spice packet up in there. Give it a good little stir. You will go ahead and turn that heat up just a little bit. And you're just going to let that sit. And what you're going to do is you're going to boil off all that water. If you're like me, this is how you eat ramen noodles anyway. I'm kind of weird like that. What I do when I make regular ramen noodles is I let it sit until all the water soaks up into the noodles, and then I eat it. So I'm never actually even really eating soup. I'm just eating the noodles. And that's kind of the same concept that you're doing here. Once all that boils off, this is what it's going to look like when it's done. You're just going to let it boil off, turn off the heat, and then you're going to sprinkle it with some cheese on top. And when you're done, here's the finished product of what it's going to look like. You just have that, you serve it up, that cheesy goodness, and like I said, you could add in some vegetables or something else like that, and bam, you have yourself a coronavirus lockdown prison spread. I'm going to send it back out to Keiths Korner. All right. And we are back. That was the second edition of Keith's Kitchen, where I showed everybody how to make a spread. So as I said, the spread
Spread
is
eagle.
that a spread. Is that old jailhouse term. Basically how to make something for nothing. And my cousin Troy, come on now, I know how to get down.
That prison goulash.
We had that prison goulash that one time. But you had the honor of go ahead and taste testing some of this. How was it?
Dude, it was solid 9.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. But I would pay for it for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I would start like if you did that on a street cart, I think it would make some pretty solid money, especially at like where we work or.
That's cool.
I think that would make a lot of money.
So you mentioned you'd be willing to pay. Would you what would you pay? 1 carton of cigarettes? 2 cartons of cigarettes? How many cartons of cigarettes would you pay for that? That's jailhouse currency.
I mean, it depends how big the portion is. If we're talking like a snack size bag of it, I'm gonna say like 8 cigarettes.
8 cigarettes? Oh, damn. That's pretty good, I guess. I'll get down with that. Yeah, cuzzo, whenever I get down there, you can come on. Weenieless. So I mean, yeah, that's another thing you can put in there. Chop up some of that Vienna sausage, fry that up, put that in there. Bologna.
Slim Jims.
Really.
Slim
Jims is definitely what you would find most commonly in the spread. Yeah. But I've seen spreads that have everything from, Slim Jims, peanut butter, believe it or not, even toothpaste. I've seen spreads where they've used toothpaste for flavoring before. Probably shouldn't eat. Disclaimer: probably shouldn't eat toothpaste. But look, I don't make the recipes or whatever. But hey, it is what it is. But so moving on. This is the main topic I wanted to get into. With everybody, I just want to see where everybody kind of stands on this situation or on this topic. So I encourage anybody to please chime in and let me know what you guys think on this. But what we're going to talk about is being in a relationship and having a bank account. Do you have separate bank accounts or joint bank accounts, and why? Because I know with me, I do not. I don't see the purpose in not having. When you're in a relationship, I don't really see the purpose in not having a joint account.
Yeah.
We'll start off with you, Zach. What are your thoughts? Because I know you say you and your wife have separate accounts.
So I have joint accounts and a separate account. So our joint accounts are basically like we have some for our kids, and then we have a travel fund. So every month we put X amount of money into an account, and then at the end of the year we'll take a big trip. And then we have another joint account for our house when we get out, and that's really our only joint accounts. Now, everything else goes into our own savings. So, if she wants to buy something that I wouldn't buy with my money, then she can go ahead and get it herself, and that's fine because I'm the same way. Like I wouldn't expect her to want me to, like she doesn't really drink. So if I want like a 12-pack of beer, I'll just go down the store and use my own money to buy it. And I wouldn't expect her money to go towards my habits. So that's kind of my take on it. What's the reason for yours?
I mean, I don't know. Plain and simple, flat out, right? And this may be different for people who are not married, but I just feel like, especially if you are married, you are one. You are one entity. You're one entity now. Like, I just feel like, you are one. Like when you marry, you join and you become one. Now the only thing, like me and Annalise, we're not married, but we damn well might as well be. You know what I mean? So it just like at this point in time, like we have to cover all the same things. We have to cover all the same things, and you know, as a team, you're a team. So as a team, if one person is lacking, you know, you got to pick it up. Like if you know, if your wife was for whatever reason hurting for money, are you going to help her out? Or are you just gonna be like, "Fuck no, man. That's up to you to."
No, man, that's really up to her. Shouts out to Michelle.
If you're watching, this is who you chose.
I do that because like my wife's smarter with money than I am, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But we also make the same amount of money, so it's easier for us to do that kind of thing. But for me, kind of like to go into what you said about like we're a couple, you know, we split everything, and we do still in the sense that like we go to the grocery store and we spend $200. Either I'm gonna cover it in full and she's gonna pay for groceries the next time, or if it's usually over like $200 and over, we'll be like, all right, let's just split it right down the middle. So if I pay for it with my card, she just sends me $100. That way we both put in money for it. So that's kind of how we split everything. Instead of like keeping a joint account, we still like split bills down the middle.
Yeah, so Robert's saying, you know, same thing. He agrees.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds, own and separate.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I mean, if anything, I say you have both together. Again, I would say both a separate savings account, but also together, because you know both of y'all's.
Let's say you want something like an arcade machine, and your wife doesn't, or your girl doesn't really want that. What are you gonna do then?
I mean,
These are the situations I'm talking about.
Let me think about that, Charlie. What do you say about it? I know you and Kimberly got separate accounts. What are you guys' what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like, or reasoning behind what you got?
Now we actually just changed that though. So we got one account. It's just hers.
Oh,
not
really?
even mine. All my money goes directly into hers. Yeah, and if Daddy's good, I get that
Old
allowance
Luke
at the end of the week.
Yeah, both.
You know.
Let's see
Let's
if
see
that
if it
pays
works.
off.
Nah, I'm
Let's
just
see if that
kidding.
pays off.
And still waiting on that stimulus check. If I'm lucky, I might get half. So we'll see. I got to be good though. So we'll make it happen though.
Yeah. No, so that's news to me, because I know I kind of told you about ahead of time when we were doing this that him and my sister live the separate account, or at least they did. So this is news to me. So
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so now the way it works, so we do have a joint account. Being that my wife, she's a small business owner, she actually has to have her own separate account. That way it's easier for her to track her expenses. The way she files her taxes, she has like a lot of write-offs and stuff. So it's just easier that way just to keep it separate. I have my own separate account, so does she, but then we also have like a joint account. So kind of got three. But yeah, I mean, it just depends, I guess, what your circumstance is. We're kind of just different that way.
So shout out Jacob's on, and Jacob says
Shout out to JP.
shout out to JP. He said separate and then joint savings.
Yes.
That just seems redundant to me. Why? Like, what's the point?
So for me, specifically the way I do it is
No offense.
like we want to buy a house in cash when we get out,
Okay.
and like have enough money to buy like everything we're gonna have for that house.
Right.
So since we live in government housing right now, or even if we didn't, like, if you're in the military, the Army gives you X amount of money depending on where you live. And so we just put a house payment into a savings account, and then that is our joint savings account.
Okay.
So we're both putting in the equal amount of money for a joint account that's going to build up to our home eventually.
So are you going to let her stay there? Let's say let's say that your house is going to be 500,000. If she doesn't put up her equal to 250, are you going to let her stay there?
She does put up her equal to.
I'm just saying, if she didn't, this is where I'm coming from on this.
Like, what do you mean by like how far off? We talking like $100,000 off, or like a couple thousand off?
Well, and this is where I'm coming from. Is it shouldn't matter. It should not matter. let's say, you know what, like we're good. You know, being in the military, we're good. We're salary, right? We don't have to worry about not getting paid. However, you just had a baby.
Yeah.
Shout out to his wife and him.
Shouts
Congrats,
out to Wyatt Swayze.
congrats for having a baby. Oh man, you
Damn
fell
it.
for it on
Every
live.
fucking time, dude.
Anyways, so
You
let's
dick.
say though that
You dick.
The worst.
hey, so let's say that while Michelle was not working,
Yeah.
right? Let's say the Army did suspend pay because she's not there
Mm-hmm.
and she's not holding her own. Are you gonna hold up her end?
I would just put it like, obviously, I'm not going to let that slide. Like, with that circumstance, no. I would still continue to put in my half, and then we would just, after she went back to work, we would just put in the same pool. Like, when it comes down to that, I'm not that, like, anal about it, or not that specific
Is
about
she
it.
though?
No, oh, good question. No, I don't think so. I think if I was, like, a grand short, she wouldn't hold it over my head. But, I mean, at the end of the day, like, for my circumstances, it works out really well because, like I said, like, we both make roughly like the same amount of money, so it's easier for our situation to do that. So if you make like if you make different amounts of money, like hopefully in the near future, we will make different amounts of money because she's trying to go that officer route, be a doctor, and make that big money. If that was the case and she ended up putting in more money than me, it wouldn't be an issue. And if it was vice versa, if I was making more money, I would probably throw in like an extra 100 or something every month or every check, and it wouldn't be a big deal to me.
I got to agree, and it seems like you and JP are kind of on the same.
Yeah.
Because he just said, "So what if people's wives don't have a job that are still at home?" And mom, you know, my eyes are bad. What the hell does that say?
Moms or they're just
Jesus Christ.
You know my bad eyes. Well, no, but like kind of like on the same thing that you guys were saying though. Like, you know, so for example, like me and Annalie, right? She doesn't get a paycheck per se. Does she have a job? No, she does not. But she goes to school and she gets paid to go to school. Is it enough to equal or exceed my pay? Absolutely not. But what she is going to school for is to work towards her dreams. I'm supporting her in her dreams. And when we, you know, there will be a point in time where she's going to school for, she's going to nursing. There's going to be a point in time where her pay will trump mine. But you just got to be there and support them and work with them through that. So I feel like
All right, so let me ask you this: if you were in my situation, so if your girl made the exact same amount of money as you, brought home the exact same check, would you guys still completely have a completely shared account?
I would have to say so because and you know I mean I did this with my ex-wife and I do it with me and Emily now. Like we always had a same account just because you know
See,
yeah
I got you thinking.
no I mean I would still, even if they were bringing in the exact same with me, we are still one team. We are still one entity. Now, what is it going to take, Charlie? What is it going to take for? I'm going to pitch this question to you two, and to everybody out there. Jacob, feel free to chime in too, because you say you got that separate account, or even Robert. What will it take for you to start dipping in and looking at their accounts? Like if they start making some purchases or not coming up on the rent or whatever, that's what I'm just kind of saying. It's just like it seems like you're holding the rent over your spouse's head.
No. So for me, like part of the reason I married Michelle is because like she's so stable and she's like very responsible. So for me, it's easy. Like if she's making those like bigger purchases, but she has before, like that's completely on her. Like if she went out and bought like a this is like way off, but like if she went out and bought like a Lambo and her payments were like super high and she was paying high interest or some craziness like that, like that's on her. Like if she absolutely needed help, like maybe I would, but at the end of the day, like that is her decision. I would be like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But like if you want to and you think you can handle it, do it. But like you know what you can handle, I know what I can handle. Like she has her own car, I have my own car. We both pay our car notes. Like I don't pay anything on her car. She doesn't pay anything on mine. But there are things that we do for each other. So I pay for all the insurance for all of the vehicles.
Classy.
And she pays for stuff like internet, Netflix, like
Typical.
diapers. So stuff
Typical woman.
stuff that's like
She pays the
roughly comes out-
$9.99 while you pay the couple $100 stuff.
I mean,
I'm
like,
just playing.
there's other stuff, but I mean, like when it comes to stuff like that, like I will take that whole bill and she'll pay for other things. So when it comes to stuff like that,
Yeah.
like we pay for each other. But I mean, it is nice
Yeah, I
to have
think,
my
like,
own savings and not have any remorse to buy what I want.
Okay. Charlie, what'd you say?
Yeah, and I agree with you on in regard to having your own separate account. Honestly, though, I think it really just depends on your living situation with your spouse. Like for the people who were coupled up for a long time prior to getting married, I think they already would have had their own separate individual account before they even came into the relationship. So once they do get married, I mean, it's 2020. Like, sorry, boomers, but women have their own accounts too these days, and it is what it is. So I think some point, whenever you guys decide to get married, it's easier just to maybe get like a joint account and just make it work that way and just keep your own separate accounts on the side as opposed to just merging everything together, even though it's probably easy too, but like I don't know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Shouts out to equal rights. Like you were saying. So I mean, she's a fully capable woman. Like I'm gonna hold her to the same standard I would hold like a roommate.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Because
But
we're also roommates too. So.
Well, you know who was also roommates who's not holding up their end? My fucking kids. They're broke and they're not holding up their end. So I feel like
So funny thing. Do you give your kids allowances?
I do not, but I'll pay for stuff.
So I was reading this thing where
Watch, they're gonna come up and they're gonna be like, no, he doesn't.
No, I don't.
No, my kids.
Oh, okay. So I was reading this thing where like these parents would give their kids like $30 on the 1st
Mhm.
for their allowance, but they had a $10 rent on the 15th. So it was their responsibility to save that $10 to give it back on the 15th.
Okay, yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that? Because I mean,
Bro, I got 7 kids.
Jesus.
If I
that's
pay
that's like
if
$2
I
grand.
pay if I pay each of them, I might
like
as well
$2
just
grand in
fucking,
allowance. Yeah.
bro, cancel Christmas because every month I'm paying rent to my kids basically. So yeah, 7. So do the math. That's it's like $140.
Yeah.
No, that's not
for
even
20
right.
for $20 a month. Yeah.
For 20. What is that? What you said? 20 or?
Yeah. Well, you give them 30, they pay you back 10
Oh
on the
fuck no,
15th.
man! Like yeah.
So I mean, like you're kind of getting the money back, but there's just that sense of like giving them a responsibility and giving them kind of a bill to pay.
Yeah,
even
no,
though it's your own money, but I don't know. I've heard good and bad things about it. I think it's a pretty cool idea, like a cool thought to do. I don't know if I would do it, but I think it's a pretty cool idea.
So things are about to get awkward. So my sister, Charlie's wife, has commented and said, "My money is my money. His money is his money. We both work hard to make a living. If times get hard, one of us got the other. Bills split down the middle, and we're both contributing." All right, and with the little fist up. All right, I like that unity.
Yeah, she's
All right,
such a girl, man.
She didn't.
I agree.
She didn't take too kindly to that allowance remark.
I mean, okay. So what about Jacob said rent for the kids? They didn't ask to come in this world.
Ooh.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
you're one of those people.
Yeah, I know. No, I mean, I do agree. Like, I mean, we all work hard for our money. However, like, I just feel like if that's your mentality, then why get married in the first place? Like, why did you get married? Like, I mean, not that a bank account, like, solidifies you as, like, good for each other or I think it's just a show of, a sign, not even a show, but a sign of unity. It's a sign of unity. It's part of the leap of faith that you take when being with somebody.
Well, I didn't get a prenup, so
This is true, and I hate to say this. I do hate to say this because I don't want to wish this upon anybody. But let's say hypothetically, right? you get this house. You guys get the house that you want. There is no prenup, but you guys share equal everything down the line. Who does the house go to?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll leave that up to the lawyers. Maybe we could trade some sky miles. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
You get a couple miles. I'll get a couple
throw
miles.
A couple miles my way. I don't know.
Oh, sick fucking reference, bro. I mean, Charlie, like, what do you say, like, as far as splitting everything down the middle, like, and that's how you guys do it, right? You guys literally split. Well, at least before things may be a little bit different now, but you guys split everything down the middle, right?
Nah, not necessarily. So when it comes to like rent and like just like the utilities and stuff, we go down the middle on that. But honestly, we don't really like split everything. Like we don't go grocery shopping and be like, okay, well here's your half, here's my half. We just kind of just rotate when it comes to things like that when we're just spending money on a
So
daily
that's
basis. But really,
yeah.
only thing that we go down the middle on is like rent. Some of our bigger payments like that, but it is what it is. We kind of just go with it and just kind of rotate any chance any opportunity that we get. So
Yeah.
yeah, we don't make
I just
we don't make like an effort to literally go in the middle on everything. No, that's crazy talk.
Yeah, and that's how I am too. Like if we are grocery shopping and it is like a huge bill, then we will go down the middle. But if it's under like $200, then we'll just all right, you catch it next time, then type of thing.
yeah,
Yeah, it also depends on how much you're spending, right?
Right.
I mean, but why does that matter? Like, you're both gonna eat this food. You're both gonna, you're both getting nourishment from all this food. You're both delving into, like, if I were to go, I just don't.
Well, I think that's kind of going to the point we're making is it doesn't matter. So like that is why we do those type of things. Like okay, well I got it this time, but you get it next time. You see what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
it really doesn't matter. It's not that big of a deal. But if it is like a bigger bill, like we are like I feel like we're coming in a circle where it's like you're just putting the money in a joint account, but when we do a big bill and we do it down the middle, that's the same thing as having it that would be the same thing as having a joint account and using all of the same money. You see what I'm saying?
I do, however. All right, so let's
Yeah,
say.
really, it's just like your perspective of it, honestly, because your perspective is like there's no need for two separate accounts. Just have all the expenses come out from one account, and in a way, it's almost the exact same thing because you're not keeping tabs on the other person. Like, oh well, you need to go half with me on this. Like you're kind of just rotating. So in a way, it's almost the exact same thing. There's different bank accounts, but honestly, like it really
Do
doesn't
you ever
matter.
wonder? Do you ever wonder what your guys' significant others are spending their money on?
Well, I know what they're spending. I know what for my wife anyways. Like I know what she spends it on because it's all come through Amazon. It's coming to the house, and usually
Shout out to Amazon.
Yeah, shouts out to Amazon. Shouts out to Jeff Bezos. But
It's my dude.
yeah, that's my dog, dude. Yeah, he got a prenup.
Yeah, and that royally fucked him too.
Kind of. Did it?
Well, I
Did
mean,
it?
he's probably not gonna. He's probably not gonna.
Or no,
say
I
that,
don't
but-
know if he got a prenup.
Bro, I think he's
I-
paying like $7 billion in alimony.
Well, no, she got way more than that because he's worth like 124 or something like that.
In what world is that okay though?
To be worth that much?
To qualify for that much alimony.
I mean, if
I
you
mean,
got it,
I mean, that's. I mean,
$7
but he's got it.
billion.
But does she have it?
I mean, no.
So that could be a question that where this comes into question is, all right. So and I'll pose this to y'all. You all are fine right now, splitting everything down the middle. However, and having separate emails and stuff like that. But I mean, not emails, separate bank accounts. But now, what if Kim or Michelle goes out and buys a lottery ticket and hits the fucking millions?
We've already talked about it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he was quick with that.
Yeah.
So what would y'all say?
This scenario is easy, dude. Yeah, we definitely kind of split that down the middle. If she wants to keep a little extra, that's cool. But if because I know if I won $1 million, she'd be getting
Wait, hold on. You said y'all split it down the middle,
Either we would split it down the middle, or it would go into account.
but she bought that lottery ticket with her money.
No, that's not how it works. That's a scenario where, like, yeah, sure, it's her money, but
That came out of her. That money came out of her savings of what you. That's exactly what you said. If she wants to spend her money on, if she took all her savings and went and bought 1,000 fucking lottery tickets and hit one worth millions,
yeah, I think she would. I'm pretty sure she would end up giving me a lot because if I did that, I would give it to her. So I think it would be the same scenario.
I mean, I agree. I think you guys should share it. However, you would probably be against her buying those lottery tickets in the first place.
Yeah, but I would.
I think the only
would
time
make
that
a
would be an
solid
issue.
disclaimer. Yeah.
I think the only time that's an issue if you're a shitty spouse, then you kind of got that shit coming. So just don't
Yeah.
be a shitty spouse. You don't have to worry about not getting your half of the lottery money. Just keep it simple.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
And,
Now,
I mean,
if you're a piece of
you-
shit, good luck.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. So they said you're in the relationship together and you are married or living together. The living expenses should be shared unless she is a stay-at-home wife. And then if I hit the millions, it's mine because I paid for the lottery ticket. That was your wife saying that, Charlie. No, I think I mean exactly like I said though. Like you should share the living expenses, but why does so? It does become. It does seem like, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but it does seem like the amount of incoming of income per month plays a role in this because if you so basically by y'all saying that you if you hit the lottery things would be different then that would be both of y'all.
I think it would go into an account that would go towards something like, let's say it was $1 million, like it would go to like our house fund, like that, and that's like a disclaimer before, like, okay, we'll take out $100,000 and spend it on things like we both want, like a nice trip for each other, but it wouldn't just be like, okay, you get this money because we're the same way in that sense, like, okay, I won the $1 million, I'm going to split it with her, or it's going to go to something we both want, and it's just the same. So we're on the same page when it comes to stuff like that. Like I'm sure it's different for other people, but I feel like people who have joint accounts are the same people that have joint Facebook accounts and shit. That's just gay, so
Well, I used to have one,
yeah,
but
that checks out.
but no, I mean, is it a? And I guess you can kind of see this from both point of views, or I mean both angles. Like, is it a trust issue thing? Like, is there any type of trust issues with having a separate bank account? Charlie, do you feel like that there might be? Careful what you say, because I'm pretty sure she's watching.
Nah, not
I
at all,
think-
man. I feel the complete opposite. If I feel like if there was trust issues, somebody would probably want one account if there were trust issues. If there's not trust issues, why would you care?
I think it's kind of both. I think it's kind of both. But you can kind of say that both ways, though. Like
If you make it about trust issues, then there's going to be trust issues. But if, like he said, like if you have trust for each other, then it shouldn't matter. Like, okay, but I already know how much for my situation. I know how much Michelle makes, so it's easy for me. And even if she was like building her account up, because she's got an account that I don't, that is building a lot more than mine, and it's like, cool, when you retire, that's money you're gonna get more than me. So, I mean,
but aren't I mean, we can go on about this all day, but I mean, well, back to the trust issue thing. I think it can go kind of both ways. Like, if you have a joint account, it's because you want to be able to check up on what it is that your spouse is doing, what they're spending on. But if you have separate, it's also about trust issues because you're worried about that other person not living up on their end of the relationship. So it's kind of a different kind of trust, I feel. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think that might be the old school. So I feel like joint accounts might be like a new school thing. So I might just be old school in that sense. Of if you're together, you got to have one account.
I mean, it depends how far old school you're talking about. Like, because we're talking old school, then it's like the woman stays home or your spouse stays home while you're out like bringing it in, and he or she is providing everything that you need at the house. So, like, I get that. That I do get. Like, if I had a stay-at-home wife, like some of the people were commenting, then yeah, I would probably have like a joint account.
Mm-hmm.
But since I know like my wife already works, so it's just easy. Again, it's definitely a by situation thing, but the situations, mine specifically, it's just so much easier to have different accounts.
Fair enough. I mean, Charlie. So like, let me pitch this to you, Charlie. So what if? Because I feel like we're all in a situation now. I mean, the older you get, you kind of get yourself into better situations to where you can have separate accounts, but to where you can afford to do it. Like I said, like take with me and Emily for example. She doesn't have a job per se. She brings in money from going to school, but I'm taking care of the bulk of everything. But I'm investing in her. You know what I mean? I'm investing. I'm making that investment in the future in her, and it will pay off down the line when she reaches her goal and she becomes she becomes the nurse that she wants to be, and then her bank account will trump mine. Um, and then, but I mean, I think it's just, yeah. I mean, I guess it's all like, I mean, you guys seem to be good in yours, and I'm good at mine. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody does it for a reason. I just thought it would be a good topic to talk about because I want to see where everybody's, where everybody's like mindset is with that. Like, I'm not totally against a joint account or anything like that. So I think, I mean, I can see where you guys are coming from. I just don't think it would be for me.
Yeah, it's not for everyone.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. Just like that shirt, it's not for everyone.
Bold statement.
Got him. But all right, so we're gonna go ahead and we'll cut it off then. I appreciate everybody coming out. Zach, appreciate you coming out.
Ooh,
You got me
you
there.
sorry,
I ain't gonna lie.
at the beginning.
Charlie, always a pleasure. I appreciate you coming out.
Yep.
Everybody, make sure to like and subscribe. The link is down there or whatever. Add me. And next week, you're more than welcome to come out if you want to come out again. Always a pleasure. Charlie, I'll see you next week. And we'll have a whole new set of topics next week. And I'm Keith, and you just got cornered.
All right, boys.